So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to one of the major highlights of our program today. It's a very special moment. Let me come to the center. And it is a time when we're going to get a charge from our visionary leader, whose strategic insight, his commitment, his energy, his brilliance has been instrumental in moving this company in a very progressive direction. And it's a very special moment. It's a moment we should all treasure, have it for the history books, because we don't get to have this opportunity often. Personally, I recall during my interview stage, when I saw email, the next stage of your interview is with the MD. I was like, what is going on? Am I safe? Did I apply for the wrong job? They want to make me a director at once. I was confused. But I got to learn something, because it's rare to see an organization where, in the course of your recruitment, the MD will actually create the time to talk with you as a new recruit. It shows the level of commitment. It shows the level of passion he has for his job. And it's no wonder why Owando has grown to become the organization it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment, we invite our visionary leader. I'm not even sure if I'm worthy to call this name, but I will try. So, ladies and gentlemen, I invite to the podium to speak to us Dr. Alex.
Good morning. Okay, I think they must have overfed you people. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Okay. What's your name? Shino, tell me what's the most exciting thing you've heard since you've been here this morning.
All right. So I think the most uplifting thing I've heard is the fact that if you lock in early in your career, if you make the relevant sacrifices, it pays off. Yeah.
You're not clapping for Shino. You in green. Okay. You know, I always say that these opportunities come sparingly in life. You don't appreciate them until you get much older. An opportunity to sit down with your peers, to get mentored by people that are doing the work. And of course, in many ways, to dive deep into the essence of what you're going to do for the rest of your lives. For some of you. For others, you might navigate your way out of this into something that's perhaps maybe suiting or more relevant or more convenient. It's instrumental to note, right? A fun fact, you probably know this already, but the founders of this institution are both lawyers, right? And what that does, it gives you an idea of the strength and potential of the discipline you've chosen to do in life. I don't stand here before you today as MD. I stand here before you as a colleague. I often say that I'm in awe of gatherings like this, where qualified professionals are all trying to improve themselves, because that's what we're doing here, right? And I haven't seen better dexterity, creativity, out-of-the-box thinking, commercial relevance and success in my own life from people that are not lawyers, right? I have seen that amount of capacity from lawyers largely. When I look around my friends, it's the same thing. Those that are on the ball, understand contracts, understand commercial negotiations. I always find that having that law background provides an undue advantage, in my opinion. So, first of all, clap for yourselves for picking to do this. The second thing is, we're all going into a new world, and that world demands a different kind of approach, right? When you look at what's happening today with all the growth in data management and big data and AI and the various machine learning that happens at a very basic level, right? Not even in the more complex levels. It's clear that knowledge is slowly becoming priced at zero. Now, one of the great things you lawyers had was the ability to quote every case file from 1925 to date, right? Synthesis of knowledge is also becoming cost per unit zero, meaning that today I can take all the case files that have ever been heard about a particular aspect of law. I can review that over the arguments that have been made, and I can come to a conclusion better than 99.9% of the lawyers that exist. That's just a fact. It's not to belittle the work you do. How do you function in that new world? And what that requires is a lot of, first of all, introspection and understanding that the world is moving, all right? So let's not hide and pretend all of this is not happening. But secondly, a strategy for coping with that. And I think that's some of the stuff that, Tommy, I hope you're covering with them today, right? It's thinking about what does a lawyer mean in 2030, 2040, 2050. Some of you will be dead by then, Sha. All of it. Some of us, not some of you. 2070, 80, and so on, right? The reality is that that form that you see today is going to drastically change. And on the back of that, there's something to be said for the rate of change. In the past, things changed very slowly because you and I were involved in that change. We're involved in the research, the development, the improvement, the testing. In today's world, that rate of change has been accelerated by all the advances I spoke about earlier on. So we couldn't build an aircraft that could do certain things unless we had elapsed 10, 15 years because we needed to improve material science. We needed to improve some of the aerodynamics of the aircraft. We needed to improve some of the internal machine controls, hydraulic and electronic systems. Today, you can do all of that in 2 weeks. Simply because of the ability to augment and speed up that process. So in your field, that rate of change, you've got to be aware of it. It's going to be much quicker. Now, your biggest stumbling block is going to be the judiciary system. It's not going to change as quick, right? Because governments and systems of that nature are just quite slow. But in advanced countries, you will see that progress. Now, you have a unique advantage. You can see the journey. So the choices you make today are very important, extremely important. What is your strategy for the future? Where are you going to focus all your energies? Is it on cramming case files or on understanding how best to utilize the tools that exist to improve your own argument or your own positions, whether it's documentary or whether it's argumentative, whatever it is? And largely looking at the schools or opportunities like this to get that improvement. I'm always impressed by lawyers. First of all, I'm a very, very lazy reader, right? I don't like to read. Tommy will tell you. I say, Tommy, what does that thing say? You're looking at me as if, but they gave us the document together. Why don't you read your own? Let me read mine. So I do envy the amount of work you guys put in. And I say everyone in this room, I was with a law firm a few weeks ago during the International Men's Day, and I was saying that everyone in this room has an insatiable appetite for success. You will not be here or online if you did not commit to the hard work, the dedication, and the effort required to get to where you are. So you already have the foundation. And my charge to you today is don't close your eyes to the future that's ahead of you. On a final note, I hope you guys have a very exciting day. How many more hours for the day? About 3-4 hours. Leaning, I always say, fully commit. There's no time like the present. Tomorrow is not assured. The arrogance that you may have tomorrow is, for me, folly. Today is what you have. Put everything into this. Get to know the people around you if you don't know them. You form the most unique friendships in the most strange circumstances. And I wish you all the very best for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex.